Morning! Wake up to Rodney, Monday morning edition. Go, Lord. People still can't drive. Right, so, yes, my girl, jogging in the morning. It's 6:30. Wake up to Rodney. I've been up since 4:30, been gym, got my lunch ready, made my protein shake. It's how you start the day. And business is calling. Right, so listen, I am not gonna say anything negative about social media. I'm not. But I am gonna talk about some of the realities. I gotta get rid of all this protein. I got loads of protein, so I'm gonna have a protein shake every day. Gotta go to the gym from now on. Right, so listen, we live in England, Great Britain, the UK, the Western world, the developed world, whatever you want to call it. Now, are the people in England, the UK, the Western world who aren't in good positions? Yes, 100%. There are people in the UK who, for whatever reason, whether it's their own decisions or whether it's through just being born in the wrong place at the wrong time to the wrong parents, whatever you want to call it, they're not in the right place physically, mentally, or financially. Now, we've got a population, and the working population, that's not what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is there are people in my daughter sent me a post, and the post was all about people in the UK dying of starvation, mould, this, that and the other. Now, before I can talk about the financial aspects of any of this yet, we've got to take into consideration that in the UK, in England, we are just as scammy and scummy and despicable people as anywhere else in the world. We're just as bad, and in some cases worse. Not all cases, but in some cases worse. The difference is we're made to... Oh, shit. The difference is... Oh, yeah, thank you, my friend. Just let me go. The difference is we're meant to have this caring society, and we do. There are some amazing people who do some amazing things. However, we're still at the situation where landlords, so let's get this right. There are private landlords who know, because of the area, that they don't need to put any air bricks in, they don't need to change any boilers, they don't need to fix any central heating, they don't need to replaster any walls, they don't need to upgrade any pipes to make sure that the central heating's efficient so that people aren't losing money. They don't need to clad the buildings so that the house is warmer. They don't need to put anything in the loft to make sure there's loft insulation. They don't need to fix the roofs. Now, some landlords are amazing, and this is what I mean when I talk about determinism, right? Some landlords are amazing, and and the average working family can pay a fair amount of rent, a fair amount of council tax, and that can result in living somewhere that's adequate and healthy for them and their family. But then there are some scum landlords who don't do any of those things yet, and people are living with mould, and people are living with whatever. Now, let me put it to you like this. Yeah, the reason why landlords can get away with that is because there's a housing shortage. Now, this is where, and I'm not a property person. I'm not Samuel Leeds. I'm not a property person in any way. All I know is, I know I've got asthma, and I know that I have an air purifier in my room, and my house is nice. So I've got an air purifier in my room. So if you're in a place with mold and damp, that is going to have an effect on anyone's health, because I know it would have an effect on mine, because my body's so sensitive, yeah, that if I turn off the air filter in the morning, so, you see what I mean? So nobody can tell me that if you're paying a rent, yeah, that landlord, whoever it is, should do what they need to do to make sure that house is healthy. Now, the reason why they don't do it is because they don't have to. Yeah. The reason why the councils can't do it or maintain properties is because they can't afford it. We've got to start. The economy has to flip. The economy has to flip. And I keep going back to it. The only way for the economy to flip is to get more people in work. To get more people in work, jobs need to be more accessible. For jobs to be more accessible, we need to get rid of some of the stupid processes it is for people to get jobs. Recruiters should be going to jobs fairs whenever there's a role, and stop all this 3 hours filling in. Oh, I know you've got a CV, but we want you to fill in our form. It's ridiculous. And I mean, and I'll give you an example. I applied for a teaching role, a business lecturer role at a college, and it says at the top, we do not accept unsolicited CV. So they don't want you to just send in your CV. They want you to, and then so you go to the form and you fill in this big old 3-hour form it takes to fill in, and then you've got to have no gaps and all of this, so you got to go through absolutely everything, yeah. And then so you've got to find 3 hours of your life to do that. Then when you don't get the job, there's no explanation. Just a colossal waste of people's time. Colossal. Whereas if they could just go to a teaching fair, right? So at the end of every year, it should just be, or whenever the time period is, a teaching fair, and teachers, a TES teaching fair, and teachers can all go. It could either be virtual, it could be go to NEC, and they say, these are our vacancies, do you want to interview now? There's my CV, there it is, whatever it is. The same, Jaguar Land Rover, they do a test, which is great. So Jaguar Land Rover, they do a test, and the test is, I don't know, it's like some maths test. They're not interested in no CV. Yep, have you got a criminal record, whatever. But the CV, not interested. Can you pass the test? Pass the test, you get an interview. Great. So how can Jaguar Land Rover sort it out, but no one else can? Stop wasting people's time. Stop wanting to waste people's time. Stop wasting your own time. If you recruited for a role, recruit for the role. And I mean, I understand. And I was talking to my bro the other day. Everybody can make a case for why they are where they are. Everybody can. But at some point you have to make the case that it's irrelevant. whatever it is, it's irrelevant. Whatever reason as to you are here is irrelevant, because it's where you go forward from here that is relevant. Because nothing can be done about, I got divorced, or whatever the story is, whatever the scenario is, whatever it is, no one can do anything about it. It's done. So what do you need to do to propel yourself into a position where you can access work, access health, access entertainment, access a place where you can start to build your mental health, where your children can be healthy? And that might be away from family, but if you contribute your happiness to being close to family or whatever it is, then you've got to make the decision that you better either retrain, re-educate, whatever it is. Because if you're living in a place that's full of mold and everything, it's up to you to move. It's up to you to do something about it. Because until the government put laws in to make landlords the standard of living increase, which they won't, because they can't afford it, it's not going to happen. Because why would if a landlord is getting, all right, I'm picking on London, but let's not pick on London. Let's pick on Birmingham, because A, it's my hometown city, and B, the council's near enough bankrupt. And I'm going to move on to one more thing, which is significant. I remember when the flats in Birmingham were infested with rats. And people would complain to the council again and again and again and again and again. And they just didn't do anything, wouldn't do anything, didn't do anything, wouldn't do anything. They didn't do anything because they couldn't afford it. They didn't do anything because they couldn't afford it. Now, why can a council not afford to maintain property? Because it costs millions. And you're in there anyway. And they've got other priorities. So unless you're gonna do something, put rat traps down yourself and all that type of thing, what can they do? What can happen? You're not gonna move because you feel trapped. Now you can move, but you're not going to move. But it's a tough one, because it's like I say, there is always a solution, but that solution is never the easiest option. Never. It's never the path of least resistance. It's always the path of most resistance. Oh wow, buzzard. So, and just before we go, I want to touch on something. The rise of Aldi and Lidl. Now, I say this, it's all to do, I'm a teacher, so I would say this, education. Tony Blair said it, and I'm going to cause some some anger here. One of my heroes, Tony Blair, right? Education. Yeah. No, the people don't know food. People don't know. And I keep telling this story. There was a lady, she came into the local shop, this was a few years ago, and she had £5 to feed a family of, I don't know, 6, 7, whatever. And she went, and these local shops that sell a pizza for £1, like Ristorante, bag of chips for £1, bag of chicken nuggets for £1. So I think she bought something like 4 items that were £1 each, and she was gonna have, chicken nuggets, chips, all just, and she had a baby in a pushchair. And I'm thinking, what nutrition is that family getting? None. Absolutely none. Whereas she could have bought some tomatoes, a bit of garlic, some basil for 50p from Tesco. Yeah, a bag of pasta, a tin of tomatoes, and for £3, yeah, they've all got a much healthier meal with some form of vitamins. Chuck a 80p punnet of mushrooms in, got some vitamin D. Don't know about food. The kid had a belly on him, yeah, she had a belly on her, yeah, because they're eating all this garbage food. Education. No, and again, we want to improve the health of the nation. Eating chips, pizza, and and breaded chicken nuggets for dinner. What's that kid going to be like at school the next day? No wonder ADHD, autism, behaviour-related issues are going through the roof because you're feeding kids rubbish. It's absolutely bonkers. It's bonkers. But if you've got, I don't know, £60 a week to pay for everything, and that's the only mindset, and that's what you grew up on, because this mum of 4 and a boyfriend, this mum of 4 only looked like 25, so she's just a, you know, in Aliens, she's just a breeding machine. She's got no concept of anything. Education. Anyway, I've gone full circle. Listen, like and subscribe, guys. I could talk all day. This needs to be an hour show. Listen, it's in a bit. Bye.